Have you ever heard about Genshin Impact? Yeah, you did, either voluntarily or not, but to not hear about it, one had to live under a rock. But there's one more game, a big sister if you will, that has been much longer with us, and that would be Honkai Impact 3rd. And now we are about to receive their child, which is called Honkai Star Rail, because obviously someone ran out of ideas a long time ago. That is the newest installment of MiHoYo Money Printing Machine, a game that takes from both of its parents but tries to have a personality of its own. However, it's impossible not to notice familiar faces. For example, my favorite Lee Susheng. And the one that broke hearts of many, but not in the way you think.
Just stop! Just stop it! Stop! No! Just stop it!
And even if the face isn't familiar, then character model is. This is Chi-Chi, and this is Pink Kokomi. But what is also present here are those artifacts. Seriously, out of any ideas that MiHoYo had in all these past years, artifacts are the most fucked up, and I won't waste my time talking about how they work, but if you are about to start your journey with MiHoYo games, run! Run for your wallet full before they take all of your money! Since I just had a mental breakdown, I think we should talk about combat, because it's a nice change of pace. Most of you know combat from Genshin that can be described in one sentence. Melt, Vapor and Hyper Bloom goes... But if I were to describe combat from Honkai for typical Genshin enjoyer, it would be...
It's supposed to be a fucking RPG! What role am I playing? The fucking victim? Jesus fucking Christ!
And now everything is even more toned down, because we're about to receive a turn-based combat. Congratulations, MiHoYo! Now you only miss tower defense from your portfolio. Jokes aside, at least from my perspective, this change is a welcome one, because let's be real, combat from Genshin is more of a chore than a source of entertainment. And thanks to removing it, we are getting a streamlined gameplay model that is much more satisfying thanks to dopamine bursts from well-played encounters, just like in chess. Well, maybe not exactly as in chess, because as far as I know, you can't beat the enemy queen with your king here.
We're back to beating women.
Story. Just as the name suggests, we won't be facing Honkai, well, at least not in the same manner as we did in Impact. To be frank, I am not even sure that we'll face Honkai at all, but I think I saw that Kokolia model somewhere. Ah yes, Anna Sheriak, aka Herrscher of Rhymestar. You gotta give that to MiHoYo, they know how to reuse assets. What we know though is the fact that this isn't the same universe as the one from 3rd Impact. Once again, there's a huge story spoiler here, but to put it in a layman's terms, it's somewhat similar to the Marvel multiverse. Our protagonist joins Astral Express. And that, dear viewers, is a second divine key from the original Honkai, and I really need to stop pointing out those things. Back to the protagonist that has been implanted with a Stellaron, a seed of ruin. The guy responsible for our predicament is Distraction, an Aeon, which is a godlike creature who believes that all civilization should be wiped out. Luckily, that won't stop you from boarding the aforementioned Astral Express and traveling through Star Rail's universe. You are not alone either. A group of passengers claiming to have inherited the spirit of the Trailblaze will join you on your adventures. Sounds good? Well, not for me neither. Description is very vague to the point where toilet cleaner acids have more information on it, but so far MiHoYo delivered when it comes to the lore of the stories, even if they need to be vague about it due to the censorship. Artifacts. Well, I guess we have to talk about that. Long story short, artifacts have layers of RNG. And this time we'll be able to equip 6 artifacts per character. Is it bad? Yes and no. This is a change for the better since we can substitute set artifacts even more and thus create more builds. But it doesn't balance out the fact that there are 5 pieces set bonuses. Yes, you heard me right. There are 5-piece sets and we are able to equip 6 artifacts overall, which means even greater struggle against layers of RNGs. However, this won't probably affect the majority of the community, unless Abyss will function as in the third impact, where you just can't allow yourself to miss it since it runs on 2 per week basis, and generates most of the premium currency, and requires a very diverse roster. Gacha. Forget about the fair Honkai PT system and no 50-50 or 75-25 bullshit, because it's present here. Although, this is somewhat better than Genshin since there is only one, let's say, featured weapon on the banner instead of 2. However, there is one thing I would like to point out here that might be a problem later on. Generally speaking, you have a freedom of making your team comp in Genshin. Do you want to play around Hu Tao? Sure, then you probably want to pair her with Xingqiu, Zhongli and Kazuha. But what if you don't have Kazuha? Then just have Sakros. Here, problem solved, you don't need to thank me. In third Honkai, things are not that easy though. Team comps are much more restrictive in that regard. For example, look at the current top tier comp, which contains 3 Herrschers that are real gods and not bootleg ones like Archons, which contains elemental type damage that is completely useless against bosses that have weakness towards physical damage. And I fear that we might be facing the exact same thing here. And you ask, why is that bad, Timmy? Well, in Honkai, PT is only 100 compared to 180, and there is no 50-50 plus some of recent S-rank characters that are equivalent of 5-star have been given for free. Can you imagine that in Genshin or perhaps in Star Rail, since most of the mechanics are cloned from its predecessor? Yeah, I also have problem with picturing this, but since we are looking at stuff, let's talk about the visuals. And there's nothing special to say here, like if you played Genshin then you probably know what to expect in that department, although due to how repetitive animations are and pace of gameplay, you'll probably puke after the first few hours of seeing them all over again.
Hey, I've seen this one, this is a classic!
And I think it's time for the verdict. What I'm about to say is redundant, but if you have played any of the previous Hoyo games, you'll play this one, and if you disagree, I pity the fool who thinks that way. Seriously, we all know where this is going. I've tried multiple times to break the hold that MiHoYo has over me, and look where I am!
Man, maybe I am gay.
But if this will be your first game from Hoyo stable, then you will be swayed by cute and flashy outside, just to bash your head against ugly inside that is artifact system and gacha. But if you are able to look past these elements, then you will have a good time here. Probably. But in the end, we'll see that when the game is available for all, but until then, have a good one.